Welcome to this episode of the Public Nuisance Podcast, brought to you by Killen Studios, right here, where you can get all your content done, from photo shoots, podcasts. We have it all. It's lovely to have you, Paddy. We've got a special guest on today, the OG of the comedy scene, Paddy Raff.
Where'd you hear that? Thanks for having me.
You would be like one of the founding members of the comedy, like that I can remember, like, because obviously growing up, it wasn't as big. I feel like now it's massive.
Yeah.
But like, if we're talking, let's go back like 10 years. I remember like there might have been a comedy night in the field when I was a tent. I remember Paddy McDonald being on that, maybe. Yeah. And going, who the fuck's Paddy McDonald?
Yeah. And like, now it's just like big names.
Everywhere.
Yeah. It's class, like it's. I would talk. People ask us a lot. You know, where do you think it came from? And I do think it is to do with our accent. Yeah. We used to cringe when you heard our accent. Like, did you ever record yourself on a tape when you were? You still cringe at your own accent?
Watch these back.
I'm the same though. I can't watch it back. But yeah, so I think that we're kind of starting to be okay with hearing any kind of accent from here, because, and I think social media is that as well, because, you know, like, what age are you, right? So
I'm 33
33. Now. So I'm 41. I had a fucking, do you remember Talk Boy, of Home Alone? I got one of them one Christmas. It was a knockoff one from Nuts Corner. You press play and your voice went in Japanese.
Whoa. Didn't know it was fluent.
It's brilliant. So I had one of them, and like every time you heard like any, especially older relatives, if you played their voice back, they're like, turn that off. And we never heard ourselves on TV, because, you know, you even think down south you had like Fur City and Bosco and all, like the old like RTE stuff. They had entertainment, but we didn't have it up here. We just had the news, and it was always bad news, and then Jerry Adams got dubbed over anyway, so you still didn't hear our accent. So I think that because of social media, and then I suppose lockdown as well, there was loads of podcasts that were already there, and then we're all kind of, you know, in lockdown, couldn't get out for, you know, to see mates or whatever, so you kind of were looking for local stuff, and then the comedy scene was already there. So
yeah, it is. It's true. It's something that's something I would always say. Like, we're not used to hearing we don't have TV platforms. We maybe we're just late into the industry. Yeah. Like this wee small city, or even the north. It's just been like, we're late onto the scene of TV where we never really heard yourself. But now it's almost like you get used to it. Definitely. I think that's what it is, because if there was never, even in the early kind of days of social media, there was never anybody like even putting out, not to a massive extent, videos from here where you were happy to go and you didn't cringe at the accent. We were still like that. So I think that, yes, there's a bit of, and it's the same with going and seeing comedy. Like, as much as I've watched comedy from when I was a kid, I never would have thought of going to like Lavery's. You know, Colin's had Lavery's running for, I don't know, easy 10 plus years, maybe 15 years or something, because it just was like, we can't be funny. Even though you went out, and some of the funniest nights of your life are going sitting in the Devonish and listening to the headers, you know, and every friend group has a couple of absolutely, you know, hilarious fellas, but we just never thought, we'll never do that. We'll never be the ones on TV doing it. But now it's all happening, you know. Yeah, it seems to be like cities like Belfast that have all the best. Like, if you look at Glasgow, you've got Liverpool, you've Belfast. It's all like the working class cities almost that are the funniest. 100%. Producing the best comedy. I feel though that, like, when it comes to TV, there's yet to be, aside from Derry Girls, there's yet to be like a good, you know, sort of working class Belfast like sitcom or something. Yeah. So that's kind of what I always try and do, is, you know, I do stuff online and I do the stand up as well, but, you know, most comedians will be writing something in the background that sort of is their sort of, you know, I want to get that made for TV. So for me, it's I have a sitcom. I got a bit of funding from Northern Ireland Screen, they're really good at like sort of finding people who want to write things, and they're trying to look for the next Derry Girls. Yeah, like independent. Yeah, and they're looking for people with good stories from sort of authentic, you know, whatever kind of backgrounds, and I have one about from being in the wedding band. So I played in a wedding band for like 10 years, and like, so it was over 1,000. About 1,000 weddings. What instruments do you play? I play guitar and a DJ as well, and sing. But I was never the lead singer. I was always the backing singer. I like a one-man band. But just like whenever you were trying to cue up a song, like for like a first dance or whatever, and you're playing, I'd be literally strumming a thing, and then, you know, scrolling through Spotify because I forgot to download their first dance. And then you hit play and an advert comes on. Don't pay for it. Fuck it. Pay for it. I know that's genuinely happened at times. You know, where like you
you go, I'll get it off YouTube. Then you hit play and darling, hold my hand. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. The bride and groom are standing going, do we go now? But yeah, also like loads of stories from all that there, and yeah, playing loads of different instruments, and it was just brilliant crack. So in my stand up, that's why I kind of play guitar in my stand-up, because when I was coming up with, well, what do you talk about on stage? You talk about your jobs, you talk about your life, and it was like, well, the wedding band stories, and so they usually revolve around music, so I would always have the guitar, and it was kind of like early Billy Connolly. I don't know if you ever see any of his really early stuff. He always was stood with a guitar, but like 90% of the stuff you saw, he was very rarely playing it, but he just had the guitar there, and then when you hear the songs, you know, so that was always just something that was like, I'll end up doing that. But the wedding band, like sort of sitcom thing, it's a bit like it's like if Kneecap were a wedding band, you know, their thing that describes where they came from. Well, mine's kind of that sort of way. Not that we were out rapping in Irish or anything like that, running about with balaclavas on. But yeah, so it was good crack. But that's what I would love to do.
Probably wouldn't have got away with it 10 years ago doing that.
Nah,
you really got away with it. It's
only now, yeah.
People are starting to go, holy.
I was talking about the I wasn't at I was gigging on the night of the Fontaines and Kneecap gig in Boucher, and there was people saying like, you know, the sound was shite and all. I was like, my Protestant mate went to see them, and he's kind of interested. And he's like, the sound was shite. And I was like, really? And he says, he says, I couldn't understand the word they were saying. I was like, I think that was Irish. To be honest with you,
Irish.
But
it was a good buzz. Like it's like we went for dinner on the Lisburn Road, and we weren't going either. We were actually going to the Lyric to watch the show on the same night, and that's just the atmosphere coming through. Just like it was just all the ages. You know, it was like kids, like 16, 17, and then you'd fully grown adults. Yeah. And like families. Some people like bringing their kids and all. It was class walking down Lisburn.
It's mad. Like I talk about it in this new tour that I've just started. Is that, you know, you can't ignore how class it is at all these. So you've got homegrown acts that are doing big outside of here, and then you've got people coming here and you're having big gigs. I like growing up, I never would have thought I'm going to get to see Justin Timberlake in Ormeau Park. You know what I mean?
We never had that.
It's like you never did. Like
it's like we're spoiled. Like there's like four. I think there's like 4 massive festivals on there.
Yeah,
in Belfast.
There's
alone,
the AVA, the Belsonic, and then the Custom House Square, Emerge, all that stuff. It's class. There's so much. There's so much that you kind of have to choose. What do I have the time and money to go and see here? Because you could be going to something every night of the week. But that's what's class about it. You know, seeing like, you know, big things coming here and being able to, you know, just go and say, I went and seen Justin Timberlake down the road.
And even like the fella on the Falls Road. Like how much is that growing? Like
UB40 is one of my favourite. When they bring UB40,
but I brought the child with me as well.
And your kids can get their first taste of it. But that was you had like last year, was it Limp Bizkit came, and like growing up I was big into Moroccan metal music growing up, and again like thinking we're going to go and see Limp Bizkit at some stage in Belfast, and the biggest video I've ever did was
you got a hit on that
with me the hat back to front. And it's one of those things, like as a comedian, you're kind of never off, even though I wasn't planning on doing that.
But there wasn't much thought in there. It was literally just what it was. Like,
so I'd had the cap on facing forward, and a couple of times I was chatting to people, and they were like, "Oh, I can't wait!" And I was like, "I see, as soon as they come on, I'm going to." I turned and I got a few laughs. I was like, "I'm going to do that." So I got my mate Adam, who used to drum in the wedding band with me. I said, "Just film this," and he hadn't a clue what I was doing. He was half cut, and I can remember him looking, "What are you doing?" So I was like, "I'll put the audio on after." So the next day I stuck that up, and within about 2-3 hours, Fred Durst had reshared it from Limp Bizkit. The drummer, John, like the fellas from the band is like, that is mad to think that like, one day you'll do something and they'll be like resharing it and all. So I was class, but it's
the dream when you reach the people who you're like Limp Bizkit's massive, especially like the amount of stuff they see online every day, probably, but like they would skip by something like that for them to see it and reshirt.
That's it. Whoa. But now that's kind of took on a life of its own, because whenever they're going, no matter, I can tell where they're touring next, because it's the people from that country start sharing it, and it's like they're in Brazil, because there's all these ones from Brazil like reshared it and like putting their own. But it's like, the reason why that, and that's kind of like something like, I must get into that, is there's no language in that. If you look at it, it's just, there's no English, or it's literally just and so it's like, that's why Mr. Bean was massive, because Mr. Bean, didn't have to be translated. So like Mr. Bean is huge around the world. So I want to go down that route of not having to fucking say a word. There's just no language in your comedy.
The accent doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's it. Take the accent out of it. There's nobody going like the accent's crazy. Like whenever I don't know if you use like do auto translate on like subtitles or anything, it does not understand our accent. Yeah, about 80% of the stuff that it translates, I'm like, what the fuck's this supposed to? You know, it's easier to just type it out yourself because it's just it doesn't pick up Westies at all.
Sorry to interrupt this show, but I gotta tell you about that praise guy. Sponsors me and many of other podcasts around the north, many of athletes and many of charities, and he's doing magic work, making people millionaires daily. Plenty of praise be won. Check out the link in their bio and get involved in some massive praises. No, my accent's like super strong. When I speak to people even from Dublin, like I have loads of friends from Dublin, they were like, what? See if I get excited, it's game over. Like
different language. What do you like with a few drinks in you then?
I can't even understand myself. I think people genuinely think I'm punch drunk, and I understand like why, like because of my accent, but I've always been like this. I'm actually slower now than I used to be. Yeah. Because of like just with media training and stuff, you always like I've always been conscious of who I'm speaking to slow down, but like when I get excited or in a group of, see if we're together, like if I'm in Amsterdam, I train in Amsterdam with my coach and we're speaking to people from Amsterdam and they understand me, right? Yeah. See, the second I turn around and speak to my coach, people are like,
what's he speaking now?
What? He's from Dublin and I am from Belfast. Sometimes he can't even understand me. Over. But they certainly can't understand me. So I'm like, fuck, imagine I was speaking to someone else from West Belfast. Yeah. They just wouldn't have
that would have been it. Yeah.
It's a completely different language altogether.
But so I'm from West Belfast, like I'm from up Andy, top of Andy town, Brook, like, and I found recently old footage for my uncle had like a camcorder and my dad borrowed it a few summers and I was watching back and I was like, whenever I was like 14, 15 and I'm talking like that there and I was like, when did I change my accent? And I was trying to pinpoint, and I think it's whenever I started working in call centres, because you were ringing people from around the world. And I remember getting one of the fellas, like, you know, like listening to your calls, and he called me up and he brought me up and he was like, you're going to get sacked if you keep talking in your West Belfast accent. Did you not hear how many times that woman had to ask you to repeat yourself? And he's like, you're the one working in the call centre. You should be the one asking them to repeat themselves. You should. And I was like, oh my God. So I started to talk slower and try and round it. And then you can't switch it on and switch it off. It kind of just sticks.
Just absorbs,
and then I ended up being a trainer in that call centre, training people coming in. And I remember one of them sitting, like some person was sitting like they're from the north, like, and they're like, so are you from like Lisburn or something? I was like, oh no, I've lost the Westiness. I've gone to Lisburn. it was like when
slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's like when Polglass started getting their bins done by Lisburn. Right. It's like we're losing more. We've lost Brook now as well. So yeah, it's mad that you can't, you know, flip and flop and change your accent back. You know, it's like it's something that you have to understand as well. It's like if other people can't understand you and you're in this kind of business, then you're like, what are you going to do?
What chance have you got? That's probably one of the reasons. I always say it every time I wouldn't do stand up, and simply like I think one of the main reasons would be my accent. I couldn't do it because people wouldn't understand me. People from Belfast sometimes can't understand me, because when I get excited, it's usually when I'm telling a joke or like, and then I laugh while I'm talking. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like I'm laughing at my own joke.
Factor all that in, and then it's
so
like
it's just like fucking too much to change.
And then, but you decided to start a podcast, like, so.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're fucking sitting over there going,
I don't know what's going on. Fucking transcripts, fucking all over the place. But no, it's good. Like it's good to be aware. Do you know what I mean? Some people, like, it's good to be aware of like that you can turn it on and off, because like Dervin would say to me, if I fight and I do an interview on like the zone after my fight or something, she's like, why can you have to speak like that all the time? Yeah. And I'm like, because usually I'm shouting. Do you know, like if I'm sitting by the ring after a fight, I'm shouting. I'm like, because you're speaking to a large crowd. Yeah. So it's slower anyway, but
she wants you to be like that. She wants to be constantly giving interviews. That's
just speak like an interview. Imagine that, just going around all day.
Coming into the house, she's like, why didn't you clean up? Are they your dirty boxers?
Because I didn't want to.
Let me tell you something, right? You may tell me to put them in the fucking the basket, right? But I'm telling you right now, she's like, you asked
why are you shouting for? Because you asked me to speak like this.
Did she not ask for this?
This is what you wanted. It's me or the accent.
choose which one.
Which one do you want? My son's standing going, what are you shooting for, Daddy? I'm like, I don't know.
She asked for this. Are you not entertained? That's the way to go.
Oh, fuck, my neighbours will be like, fuck, we're moving out.
So you're still living in the West then, aye?
Yeah, we moved to Finicky. We live in Orchardville now, just by the Danish, just round by the Danish. So it's quiet enough around there, but it's very like, there's a lot of old people in that area, and my son's bored to tears, like. But I would never move now.
Yeah.
I remember moving there, and we were looking for houses, and Derva's family are originally from Finicky there, from like Ladybrook.
Aye.
So we were looking in around that area, and that's where she wanted to move, and I was like, I still had this thing I was like, I want to live in Turf Lodge.
Are you from Turf, are you?
Yeah, see when I go into Turf Lodge now, holy fuck, I'm like, Jesus, it does the bullet, I really does. It's a shit.
That's so true, yeah.
Like, I love it, like from what but it's not the same as when I grew up, like it's just fucking.
I know ones from Turf Lodge who were like, whenever so my wife's family are from Turf Lodge, and when you go down, there was ones that I knew like from that are around about our age, and whenever we were just starting to look for a house, we wanted to live up Ladybrook, where sort of her family now are, and there's ones going, no, you couldn't pay me to go up there, it's too quiet, and see now they're all looking at it, they're like,
it's hard to get a house up there. I think that's why it took us so long. Like we literally narrowed our like where we wanted to live down, only because that's where Dervla wanted to live.
Aye.
And it was like literally Ladybrook. We looked at a house in Brook. We looked at a few houses in Ladybrook. We looked at a few houses in Orchardville, and then it was like one fell through for us in Orchardville, and then we ended up going to Grantia. Yeah. Her mum lives in the Glen Road, which is like next door to Glen Owen.
Aye.
So it was like a house across the street, but it was that the street that people bypass to go into Turf
the
Lodge.
The cut up, but yeah.
I was like, I don't want to live here.
You're going to be it's constant
we're
traffic.
Just like, because the first house in Orchardville fell through the day before we were at the bat, fuck's sake, so we could have a solicitor fees and everything. And then we went to Grantia and we getting all that, and then we got accepted for that, and then that there fell through.
Sounds like you were looking for houses that were right beside bars, Glen Owen, Devon.
Right. There's high winds, always high winds, and then I ended up one anyway, 100 metres from the fucking from the Danish, but we ended up just narrowing it down, and then I think we got there, and I'm glad now we got there, because see, like I say, when I walk up through Turf, like, see the fucking stadium place, like, it's just like, it's bad to say because people are going to be like, who do you think he is? But it's like, it's taken me to move out of it to realise how much of a shithole it's became. Like, and
I'm not saying this anyway. This is all coming from him.
He's safe.
He could say it. He's from there.
I'm alright. But it's just it's went the dogs, like, and then up there where we are is like quiet, almost too quiet for the child. Like, there's no one to play with. He's only 4 anyway, but we lived in a wee cul-de-sac in Turf growing up. Yeah. And like, or 5 of us in total, like, so I have 3 older brothers, one my sister, then me, and then we're cousins and family, and we all lived in this wee cul-de-sac, like a dead end cul-de-sac, so you could always go out and play, even when I was 4. My son can't, because
there's nobody out there, and you tell him to go out.
It's like,
away out and play, he's like, who? My shadow?
He'd be away, like, he would leg it, he would do a runner. I was walking up under the bridge in Finicky, walk past Woodlands, and he has a wee scooter, but I was going to him only, and I says, well, walk up. So he got on the scooter, and he fucking paddled her way on, but I just let him, right? Mm-hmm. He knows, like, to stop when he's crossing the road and stuff, so he was way on. So I don't normally panic in situations like that, but he was just going and going, and he must have been at least, honestly, no joking, 400 metres away from me, like, and I mean,
it's busy road,
way up, like, and I was looking at, like, there was bypassers coming down, but they were shopping, and they were like, what's that kid doing on his own? Like, so I started to speed up, because I didn't want to be like, I'm neglecting my son. And they were like, and I was like, he's with me. He's like, you better go get him. He's way up there. And I was like, no, I can see him. He's alright, but he'll be okay. And I'm like, and they were like, oh, he'll be okay. He's 4. He's flying. He's way up there, and he was a keep it away. And then I had to tell him off. I was like, right, on the way back, you're not allowed to go so far.
And did he listen to you?
No, he didn't. Sometimes you be like, sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Do you know what I mean? But
did you live anywhere near? We used to take a trip. This is how you know you're from West Belfast. At Christmas, you went to the West Belfast Disneyland, which was Paddy. Was it Paddy? What's his surname? The house with all the lights.
Was that in Balmurphy?
Yeah, it's Balmurphy. Yeah, Paddy McManus's house. Like, he used to stick all the Christmas decorations up. That's the West Belfast Disney.
He definitely has a magnet on or everyone's going,
an industrial one with the amount. Everybody else's house lights are flickering, and he's there with a 20-foot Santa. But he was doing that stuff before it became became like a thing. About 15, 20 years ago was when not everybody, but when more and more people's. But he was the first one, like back in the day, to do that. And I remember whenever then. So her dad's from Turf and her ma's from the Murph. And Divismore, I think at Divismore that street is. So whenever we used to go and visit her granny, we'd be like, come on, we'll go up to Paddy's house, and then when you were an adult, you got to go in. And like, he'd be in just watching Coronation Street. You're just walking around some fella's house. He's like, all right, how's it going? Like, he just left the door open.
I know, it was like, because there was no social media back then whenever he done that, so he obviously just done it for like, I don't actually know why he done it, but it was like, he must have got something out of it, but he used to invite people in this house, can always remember that, and it used to be like, say, at the end of, like, maybe it was like mid-November he used to start doing it, and it used to be on the Onlytown News. It's like like an advertisement, but almost like the Onlytown News, the only ones that covered it.
Yeah.
Like, look, it's up the old decorations. Oh, go down and see it. Every year was when like,
right up in the
Onlytown News, but like social media wasn't a thing.
Aye,
if it was like if it was back then, what you would see is more people starting to do it because it'd be like, fucking, I'm gonna do that. It's
exactly.
Like, I'm gonna do it.
That was
back
just
the halls, fuck's sake.
That's like everybody's sort of competing against each other, but it was one of those things that fair play to him for doing it, because even with a magnet, it's going to cost him to buy the actual things in, even if he was getting the electricity for free. Not saying he was, but it's like, it was like fair play to him for doing that, because as a kid, like, we used to just drive past it, but when we were kids, we never went in, but then they actually get inside, and like, I don't know and even inside's decorated, like the ballocks, and you walk in, and
an effort put on that, like, and it was the same every year.
How do you remember?
In the exact same place every year, like.
I don't like when people do that, though, when they put their decorations up, and then they'll just turn them off throughout the year. And you can still fucking see it. It still says Merry Christmas there. And then there's still a Santa on the roof. Just because he's not lit up doesn't mean it's okay to leave it there.
There's so much people do that. Like,
there are
loads of people
do that. The amount of time you go, does it really? I'll come and take them down for you. It's annoying me, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. But fucking, like, my Dervla's already putting up the, like,
Halloween stuff. I know.
She's calling autumn.
My wife's doing the same.
Autumn?
She's doing that to me.
Pumpkin?
Yep. We're going all tunnel and lighting a wee spiced apple fucking Yankee candle. We got it at B&M. One of those fake ones you got out of B&M. You know, it looks like a Yankee candle, but when you light it, goes everybody has to run out. So my wife's doing the same, and she's currently on to me to go, will you cut out that garage, because I want to get all the autumnal stuff out. It's like, right, so you have to do the autumnal stuff, then it's Halloween. That shit's only put away, and you get about a week of nothing, and then it's the Christmas shit starts.
100%. It's a fucking nightmare, and then after Christmas, it's like February. It's like, will you cut the grass? It's not even spring yet.
Are you not?
Are you for real? I've just cleaned my trunks up.
Not enough people talk about how busy it is for fighters like me. You see, this is what I'm facing.
Every day or something. Like, she's like, the garage, do you want to get this garage done? And I'm useless. I don't know about you. I'm absolutely useless with my hands when it comes to tools, right? I don't know how to work. I have no trade behind me. I've never worked on a building site in my life.
Does her dad or anything have a background in trades? Her dad,
all my brothers do.
I see, that's it. So my brother-in-law and her dad, all joiners, and she'd be like, surely you can put that banister on. I'm like, fucking wouldn't know where to start with that.
Oh, exactly.
And he's all, have you raw plugs? Have you had a 2x4? Have you got a bit for that drill? I'm just like, having a clue.
That's exactly me. So she's texting me saying, I was not done last week. She's like, show me to do something about these back doors. I want to get like, maybe sliding doors or something instead. I was like, right, fuck's sake. I was like, I'll text my uncle now. He's like an architect, so I text him to give me someone's number. And he says, look, I'll get you the doors, measure them for me. And I text Dervla back saying, can you get your dad to measure the doors? And I'm away. And she was like, you just measure them when you're back. And I was like, I don't have measuring tape. So I was getting her dad in to do it, and I still have. This was last week. From I've been home, she's like, have you measured them doors yet? And I'm like, nah, I have no measuring tape.
But that's the thing is,
see in my hair, from I got home, which was on, say I got home on last Friday, right? I says, I'm going to order a full toolbox just in case, like just so I can't get shouted at no more in the house. The shout back! I haven't got a toolkit. So nah, it's almost Friday. It's almost a week past, and I still haven't ordered a toolkit.
You still haven't ordered it?
Still haven't done it.
Ah, Jesus, you're no use. Like,
but
but that's you can't expect somebody like me or you to measure for something that important, because then all of a sudden it's like, were you measuring in inches or fucking things? Like, what's the wee quotation mark? That's fucking inches. I thought that was centimeter, and all of a sudden you got these wee tiny doors ordered.
Wee doors.
I did the same though, because like my wife was like, gotta get you a toolbox, because you know every time my dad comes around he has to bring his tool, and then you're borrowing tools of his and then not giving them back. I'm a nightmare for that. And I was like, right, I'll get one. So he was coming around to do a job as a few years ago, and he was like, have you got tools? You know, because I don't have my toolboxes in the van. I was like, yeah, no, I got I came around. And he's like, where's the toolbox? And he was like, where'd you get that? And I was like, B&M. And he just went, nah, it's a fucking Fisher Price tools here, you know, like something you makes a wee noise and all for it. And there were shit, and he was just like, get rid of that. I was like, it costs like fucking 15 quid. He says, exactly, one of them tools should have cost you 50 quid a whole box of them.
Box, yeah. So that's my job today. That's my listen, I'm going to order. Thirdly, I'm going to order a toolbox.
When does this come out though? This podcast is going to hold this
Tuesday,
back. Don't be putting that out yet.
Give it a few weeks.
Wait until that's been bought, and then say, here, you can release that podcast.
So
there.
like I want to, and then she wants to get the garage all done, and I'm like, fuck, I just don't know what I do. You know what I hate doing? I hate reaching out to people. They ask to do something because I don't know what we want done. Like she's saying what the guy's done. I don't know how much I want done, and then I don't want them to come in and go, I'll do that.
Aye.
So it's about 20 grand.
And then you have to say it's all right, actually.
Just
leave it.
Should.
What are you going to do? Like, convert it? Like she
just wants to, like, I don't know, like maybe plaster it inside and insulate the walls and just make it like, and then put like a bit of a. I see the thing is, I don't even know. It's wired and all, but I'm just like, it's just shit out there. Like, and she holds on to all stuff that we don't need to hold on to. You know what I mean? Like, that's like a hoarder. Like,
see, we both me and my wife grew up like we didn't have a garage growing up. We were in like a mid. Hers was semi-detached, but I was mid-terrace, 3-bedroom house. There was 5 kids. My mum and dad was fucking rammed, and so you didn't keep anything because there was no room for anything to be kept. So I'm like that, but now she's fucking keeping everything. So when you go into the garage, there's stuff coming down like, will you ever use a fully inflated football from fucking 15 years ago? It's sitting there, hasn't been bounced once in 15 years, and it's gathering dust. They're like, can we not get rid of some of this stuff? So the stuff you and then, but I to this day, she just reminds me of this every time. So whenever I started going out, where we were going out from, we were both 18, like from, you know, no age. And I remember one time around her room, I was like, what's his bag under the bed? She's like, oh, those are my beer mats. And I was like, your beer mats? She didn't even drink. And I was like, what do you mean beer mats? She says, everybody in my family knows I collect beer mats, so anywhere around the world they are, if the, you know, so there's some class ones. Then I started slagging her about it. I was like, you and your beer mats, and I was like, imagine keeping beer mats. So she threw them out because I was so
probably worth a fortune.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing would be in the garage and would be worth something. Yeah. So like every now and again, like I'll find something, but then she's find stuff that I've kept for years, and she's like, oh, but I had to throw my fucking beer mats out. So everywhere we go, no matter where we've been on holiday, like, you know, we went to Hawaii for our honeymoon. I don't know how we got the money for that. There's still about 5 credit unions after me. But, you know, and she'd been sitting, and even then, even if she'd have restarted then, so we were married in 2009, so it was like 16 years ago, even if she'd have restarted her collection, it would still be impressive. But even back then, she was like, I could have had that one, the Mahalo fucking Lodge or whatever, and she didn't get it. So this beer mat collection would have been worth loads.
You ever see like some bars that do like memorabilia? Like I went in there like a wee bar down beside Emerald Park. It's Tato Park.
Tato for the OGs, yeah.
And it was like they had like caps hanging from the ceiling, like 8,000 caps. I read it on the hangers, like over 8,000 caps, baseball caps hanging from the ceiling from all over the world.
Class.
It'd be like something like that if you could like decorate a full room in beer mats.
Yeah.
She could have had a class. Like,
Exactly.
If you have like a wee garage, you
I
turn
have
into a bar,
so I have a shed.
I
I have a shed at the end of the garden where like that's where I do all my like writing and like practice all my stand up and play guitar and all that shit. And it is like a proper wee man cave.
Yeah.
And she got me a bar built for my would have been 30th birthday. Like she got a bar made. It was just like
you were on the ball early. Everyone started building bars during lockdown. You were way before.
No, so I had that. Yeah. So the company that did the shed for me. They took off big time during lockdown because they started doing all them pods and bars and whatever. But so we moved about 2 years ago, and I got the same one built again, just a wee bit bigger. But so this would have been 15 years ago that I got this shed made, and it was brilliant. And so I was completely, this one of the most stressful times in my life because her brother and her dad were coming around to help put, so we were plastering it and I was having to cut kingspan and cut a floor and all, and like you want to see the state of me like with a jigsaw, I'm like right, we'll measure, you go cut, and I'm like it's jumping and all, and they're like for fuck's sake. So we got the bar, we got the shed, and then she got this bar for my birthday that was just like brought and put in. It was class looking, and like we're all standing there going, it'd be class to decorate it. And then like somebody was like, oh no, it'd be class like putting like memorabilia and stuff around the wall, and like and she's looking at me going, my beer mats would have been up in that fucking wall. It's like, will you fucking leave it with the beer mats?
That's usually like the best bars you went to, like when you go in and you see
the wee small ones,
stuff, like these small bars.
You see those on Instagram and stuff, people like showing you inside these wee ones that you wouldn't know like even existed. But during lockdown, it came in that was its heyday, because obviously you couldn't go anywhere. And people don't believe me when I say this, I genuinely would sit and I would have a wee Bluetooth Bose speaker, and I would go onto YouTube and type in 10 hours bar ambience. So when you hit play, it's like all people talking and glasses clinking and all. So it sounds like a bar, and then I would put music on the other speaker, and then I'd be having my own drink. So you felt like you're at a bar. I was like, I was wanting like a bouncer to throw me out and all. Well, there's nobody can tell you to go home, and you can put like 90% gin, and then there's a wee dollop of fucking thing. That was great. It was fucking class. So once we came out of lockdown, it changed me. I will
bring
not go
back
out.
Lockdown.
That's it. I won't go back out now. Like whenever we're out, if there are occasions like I would go out with mates, I'd be sitting there going, here, see if we head now, like, you know, we'll get back to mine for about 10 o'clock. It's like, we're only out at fucking 9, but I can't get, I don't know, you like, do you like going out still, or are you?
I like going out. I would say that my original thought on the garage was I'm going to turn in the bar, like, and Douglas was like, dude, you want, I don't care, but just give me some utility space. And I was like, right, okay. So I was like, I'm going to turn, but then I was like, maybe that's a bad idea, because I love a gargle, like, and I would be afraid of just fucking sitting there too often. I was actually thinking at the very start, like, turning the bar and then doing a podcast from it. And then I was like, maybe inviting people to the house and stuff, maybe a bit like too fucking personal, you know. Yeah. So I sort of fucking parted ways with that idea, and then the idea of having a bar in the house would be too easy to access. It'd be like, oh fuck it. No, any day if nothing on, I'd just go out there and drink, like. And I was a wee bit, I was afraid of that, you know what I mean? So I was like, fuck, this can go one
the
or
temptation.
2 days.
Yeah, you don't want to be building a bar if you.
And then as well, coming home after night out, like, I'd be like, lads, I'm so close to Dadney's.
Yeah.
And you know how hard it is to get a taxi from Dadney's. I was like, I'd be like, my house
over to yours,
round at the wee bar, and then it would just be chaos.
Yeah.
So, but I think, like, if I was to do it, I would want it to be like, I would try and get loads of memorabilia about it and stuff like that. But who knows what the future holds.
You'll change your mind someday. The older you get, you cannot get me. Before lockdown, I think I kind of wouldn't have minded going out, but see now, like, I suppose with kids as well. Like, my kids are. What age is your wee fella? About 6? 4 is it? Jesus, 4. Fucking flying. So like, but mine are like 10. No, 11 and 8. And like, see now, the for me, what I look forward to is a Saturday in. And see if you'd have told me 10, 15 years ago, you're gonna look forward to sitting in on a Saturday, I'd be like, what? Am I gonna get kicked in the head in the future and end up, be totally, because I would not have ever. But I love that. Just get in, get the TV on. Get a wee fire on the go, have a wee drink. I think it's more to do with, like you say, about taxis and all that shit.
But you know what? That's something I love doing. Like, I would love sitting in the house and having a drink, a wee couple of snacks. Me and Dermot just sitting watching TV, a child, but like maybe he's in bed or whatever. And it's like, you just know it's going to be like, it's controlled drinking. It's like, it's It's like a wind down for a full week. And then you get a wee drink and just chill out and have a cargo and have a laugh and a couple of wee snacks and maybe watch a podcast or watch something funny and then put music on and next time we're fucking buzzed at each other. What you say? What do you want, a packet of Doritos?
Oh Jesus! Would you stick your own podcast on? Imagine doing that.
I know.
Would she look at you like a fucking madman if you say, "Here,
you love yourself"? That's what you like.
One year, Shh.
It's coming up now. All right, so it wasn't nothing. No, look, one thing. She like, fuck's sake, bore me later. But she watches it like in front of us. I don't. That's one thing. I don't know why. I just
I'm the same.
I never watch back.
Totally, it's an embarrassment thing. It's like you'll do it and you go, that's all grand. You enjoy doing it, but then once you kind of like, even there when I'm out on tour for the first time ever, I've bought a camera to film my sets to try and get some clips because most people don't know I do stand up, and that's what even people that follow me and have followed me from day one are like, you know, they'll come and see me and they'll be like, we didn't realize you do stand up. We thought tonight was going to be like, you know, like sketch comedy or whatever. I'm like, no, it's like stand up. But see, once I filmed it, like if I can get away with not watching it, then people are like, well, what's the point in filming if you're not going to watch it back? It's like, why would I do that though?
Oh, but you were.
I was there.
I seen it, I heard it, like I'd done it.
I couldn't get much more. I've already seen it because I was there for it. But yeah, I'm the same. Like it's just a wee bit sort of, why would I want to do that? But then I think it'd be weird if you did love watching yourself back. It'd be a wee bit sort of.
I think for me, I don't watch it back at all. Like in years to come, maybe years to come down the line, I'll maybe look back and go, fuck, remember that? That was a lot, like maybe something like that along them lines. But obviously boxing, like I would watch my boxing fights back, but I never used to.
Yeah.
But like I do, like in terms of like,
technical thing,
for what I can get better at and what I don't like, you know what I mean, that way. But I wouldn't watch too much myself. Like I would maybe watch, say I fight on Saturday, I'll watch my fight back the next day if I can. I'll go on the Zone or one of those apps and get it, watch it back, and that's it. I'll probably never watch it again. But it's just to see like what I was doing and what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah. You gotta do that.
But when it comes to this, like I say, I know what was talked about. I know what part laughed at. I was there. And then in a load of years of time, maybe I'll look back and laugh at it.
People come up to me sometimes and they'll quote sketches or something or things that I put out, and I'm looking at them going, is that one of mine? And I'm like, what? And like, I genuinely think they've got the wrong person. They think, and then they go, no, do you know? And then they literally have to explain. And then I go, oh fuck yeah! And it could be something that I put out 2 weeks ago. It could be something from years ago. But I just have this mind blank.
It's just like because things just flow sometimes too as well. Things flow, and you're like sometimes you go into a flow state. You don't even realize you said it, and then they're like, oh wow,
it's a good excuse, isn't it? Sorry, I was in a flow state there,
flow state, I'm just flowing, you know. It's like,
you're always in a flow state these days. See you in that bar. You're always out in the flow state.
Right there in the flow state.
It's a good name for it, the flow state.
The flow state. It's a good name for the bar. The flow state.
Fuck's sake.
The flow state fucking right. Bought beer mats everywhere.
My wife's beer mats. So I'm still not going to live up one down.
You're never going to live out down. Even I would like to live out down. That's a bad one. That's a good, like, that's good. Every beer match he has was an armory, like.
And I know there was, and everyone would like go on holiday, and they'd all know. And then after a while, they were coming home with him. She's like, "No, I've threw them out," and they're like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, "Wonder why?" And now they know.
Fuck's sake,
You're a bad man.
You wouldn't be big in the podcast anyway, would you? Like,
I was just saying.
Did you do? This would be like, this is probably the only podcast I've probably seen you on.
Yeah, I've done. I'll guest on anybody that asks. I'll normally go on, but in terms of being like doing podcasts, lockdown. I didn't have one going into lockdown, so like I was only doing stand up like 2 years leading into lockdown, and then so it was mostly like doing sketches and stuff, doing stand up. Lockdown came, and then that's when I was doing like a sketch a day during lockdown. And then I did the TV show. So when most people on the comedy scene were either starting a podcast during lockdown or were doing one that they'd kind of been doing just before and they were going big, I was doing TV. So I kind of missed that initial explosion, you know, or the big sort of upturn because I was doing my TV show. And then by the time I'd done 2 series of that, I was then going on my first tour. So again, I'd never toured properly. I'd done like the SSE and stuff just before lockdown. So I'd be doing everything in Belfast. But I was like, I'm going to go out and start doing, you know, sort of a tour. And so that came after the TV show. And you kind of don't have the time. And people see podcasts and think, oh, it's dead easy. You just, you rock up, you talk, and then you fuck off. And it's like, there's so much work goes into the background of it. And, you have to be dedicated to it, whatever. And it was a decision of sort of, if you're going to do it, you're going to have to do it right. And you'll know yourself, exactly, go all in or don't do it at all. Because there's examples where you could say, and even talking to someone's in the comedy scene, like, I didn't go all in. I was and it didn't really go anywhere, and then it's a wasted time. So for me, I was like, I'll not do it unless there's something that comes by that I can go, I'll do that because it doesn't take up too much time. So I did one with the producer, and it was more sort of, it felt more like a radio show for an hour. There was a certain theme and whatever, and we did a series of that, so maybe like 10 or 15 episodes. Really enjoyed it. It was good crack, but at the same time, it was like we did one series of it, and we says, right, we'll let them go out, and then we'll go back and do a second series of it if it's going well. And like you have to get those numbers. You have to keep going before it sort of takes off. Of course. So I was just like, another tour was coming up then, and another TV thing, and I was like, I don't have time for that. Yeah, and you kind of have to make those decisions at times where you go, I'm either going to go all in and do it, and or else I'm going to focus on other things. And because like it's saying there about the family and stuff. I want to leave a lot of time for my kids, because you don't get those years back. And if you kind of work really, really hard and you're not home because you're, podcasting, touring, and you take up all your time, before you know it, fast forward 5 years and my son is 15, doesn't want to know me now, wants to be out with his mates. You don't see him. My daughter be getting into that sort of age. So for me, those years of, like, I started doing stand-up when my daughter was like 1. So I always have kept, 1 foot at home, where I'll always, and to me, for comedy, it's different for boxing or whatever else, but for comedy, mentality is a big thing. If you're not happy as a comedian, if you're not happy at home and you're not having a good, good life, and you're not enjoying life, then it'll change the kind of comedy you make, and maybe you're not going to be as funny anymore. So for me, I've always left time. So, I would love to, you'd love to just be able to just walk in and say that podcast is going to fly, and then you'll do a couple interviews or whatever, podcasts a week. But there's so much work, and I have a big respect for the ones who put the effort like yourself into it, and like, Colin and Shane and all, like their podcasts they're there for a reason,
they're proper. Yeah. And that's like one of the reasons why I started. Shane had me on a few times, like, ages ago during lockdown.
Yep.
And then he asked me on again, and then there were funny episodes, and we were having a bit of crack now, and people were like loads of people were started saying, like, would you not do your own podcast? So it started, like, people, so I always, like, toyed with the idea of doing it, and then I would put it up in my story saying, do you think I sell my own podcast, and like, are we voting stuff for a poll? And people were like, yes, definitely, and all. And then over time, and then obviously the opportunity came, and Ryan he was doing all photography work in our gym and videography, and then he says to me, I've got a studio. So it was like, sweet. It's like, works out. Maybe this is meant to be. And then sort of, I was going in with already almost already having an audience, because they were all like, wanted, like, are you going to have one? Are you going to do one? Are you going to do one? And then I sort of just went with it.
That's the way to do it. So the demand, you knew the demand was there. People were coming to you. It's not like you're forcing it, and you're saying, "Oh, it's there." So that's the way to do it. But it's like it's such a big medium now. It's like most people that the first thing they'll do is, like, they'll check listen to the new episode of whoever's podcast they're following. But for me, I've been on more podcasts than I've listened to. I just don't have the time for a podcast.
I know, I'm the same. Like, in fairness, I used to now. In fairness, I used to listen to them when I was driving to Dublin every day training.
If I'm out on tour, I might try and have one, but I'm very rare that I'd be out driving those distances. But that's the only time I get to listen to it. Like, if my wife found out that I was listening to podcasts, she'd be more annoyed if I was. She'd be more annoyed. She'd rather was watching porn than listening to a podcast, because if you find a podcast on my phone, she'll be like, excuse me, what's this? where do you get the time to be listening to this? Those trunks stopped me picked up.
What? You can't laugh?
Like, no, she would genuinely be more, she wouldn't be happy at all if I listened to a podcast. She'd be like, absolutely not.
The love one of we taking, like, it'd be great to just come in one day and just watch a wee podcast, wouldn't it? While you watch the podcast.
Oh, I wish I had time to do that.
But I'd be like, oh, fucking right, it's great. Rub it in, and then it turns into a fake.
Exactly.
I was like, what did you want me to say?
You can't go that way.
Either way, when they say that, no matter what response you have, it's going to be a fake. Because if you say, I better hang. Oh, well, I had to do this, now do that.
Yep. It's already been written. There's no way out of it.
You're better off
it's
just
like
sitting in silence
because my job, like with comedy, you know, I have to kind of keep up to date with what's going on, and I'd be like on my phone, something like we're watching like a comedy clip or watching something else, and it genuinely is because like I'm always thinking, always writing wee notes for, you know, sort of whatever, and like if your wife comes in and she's doing something, you haven't clocked it, and she's cleaning, and she goes, must be great. You go, oh fuck, here we go.
Every day.
Must be great.
Must be great. They'll sit and scroll through TikTok all day. I'm like,
and I'm like, it's my job. Like, oh really? Is it?
That's a weird.
Wish I had a job like that.
Maybe you should get one now.
Oh fuck, there we go.
Folks, you're on the road every fucking day. You're away to Mayo, living in fucking staying in the Iceland hotel. Where am I up looking after 4-year-old? And I'm in the gym this morning. I'm doing a podcast and I'm fucking training. And who's picking his head up in school?
Next thing the mic comes in, you know, and you're giving an interview again. Fucking Bruce Buffer behind you.
Okay, fight fans, here we go.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, no, it's just I suppose that's just a life in the that's family, isn't it? It's just what happens in the households of West Belfast or the Greater Belfast area.
Now that you're on the other side of the fucking, you're beyond the M1.
Once I change I'll start to slow down and start to speak a little bit proper, and then I'll start to, maybe someone from Lisburn will start to
tease it out of you. Yeah. That the day that happens to you, like you'll be. I remember when it happened, I was like, oh fuck, I really have changed. That somebody, because the call center I worked in was HCL, you know, on the Boucher Road. Boucher, and it was great crack, like, and but that was one of those things. I think that was like a gateway into comedy for me, because I was already playing guitar in a wedding band, and then I was doing training. And you would be training people for like Vodafone and Sky Digital and all this shit, you know. So you would learn, you know, you knew the stuff you had to train them, but I was throwing in wee jokes left, right, and centre. And then I was getting to the stage where the next week I'd be training another group, but I'd have the same material and I'd be throwing in more jokes. And then it was like, it was a good crack, you know. And then somebody shadowed me and were like, you made the same jokes whenever we thought that was the first time. And I was off the top of the dome. I was like, I have them written down here. But I remember we used to train people, and you would get them from like recruiters like Manpower, Randstad, who were recruiting for like call center jobs. And I remember they were like, oh, apparently we're going to start taking in industrial temps. And they were people who were waiting to work on building sites and whatever. So they wouldn't have the same skill set to work and thing. And everybody was up in arms. Industrial temps? Fuck off, we're not taking industrial temps in here and all. And there was ones calling them industrial tramps. And like, here, that's too. And so I was sticking up for them, because I was like from the West. I knew a load of my mates were with industrial temps. I was like, here, no, look, there was as much right to work in here as anybody else. So I was getting all fucking man of the people about it. And then the first week we took them in industrial temps, and this fella, he's like, so you want to just click on your screen? And the fella like, well, he says, use your mouse to click on your screen. Your fella was just looking, what's the mouse? I was like, that's it. He'd never worked a computer before. And then that's the moment
you went, and I was like, lads, they're fucking right.
Industrial tramps is right. And I was like, I swear to fuck, I says, lift your mouse and click it on the screen. And he lifted the fucking mouse and put it onto the screen, and I click. I was like, I now have to. So I had this technical training, and this guy
just defended you all last week. You can't even use a mouse.
They're letting me down. They're letting me down. Something It was wild, but they were the best crack, and that's what I felt was really weird about it. Was that I was probably 22, and I'm training this fella who's in his early 60s, has worked the building sites all his life, like, would have respect out in the fucking building sites, but I'm like a wee dick in here going, click on the talking gobbledygook to him. So it was mad, like, but the jokes didn't work on them. I got the jokes, and it was like, like, fuck up. Tell us a good joke, would you? You're like, getting heckled in my own class here.
That's what happens. Like, see people who work on a building site just seem to be just constantly messing all the time. Like my dad, like some of his stories, my brothers, he's a bricklayer. One of them's a bricklayer, my dad, just a few mates, just constantly, they're videoing that and they're showing that. I'm going,
the stories are crazy, because you get that like on the tools, you know, like on social media and stuff. Although a lot of their stuff is set up now, and I hate when you see set up. But like when you hear the old jokes, like, how could you even put that on social media? Like I remember hearing from my father-in-law telling me that there was a fella had a radio, like back in the sort of 70s or 80s, had like a big hi-fi radio thing, ghetto blaster you bring in, and he used to play the fucking worst like music on it. Don't know what he was listening to, but they always see you in that fucking radio. And one day he was down having his lunch or whatever, and he came back up and it wasn't working. He was like, this fucking isn't, and they were all laughing, and he opened the batteries and somebody had just shit. took the batteries out and laid a fucking cable in it.
Used to be the big thick
the big thick ones, like ever ready, just fucking end to end. And I was like, and he was telling us laughing.
Right across
like, could you imagine? Yeah, could you imagine that? Like my fucking pride and joy. Like he spent money on this, and somebody. How do you have that kind of control, level of control? Negative end to positive end is right and everything.
Not a better lane.
That's it. You know, like
moving as you do it.
Like when you get a fucking ice cream, you know, like how do you know when to stop? The story, and it always seems to revolve around shite. The other one was that they used to have like when they would get to a site, they would set up the bogs, and it was just literally a trench you would dig, and you would put like plywood around it, and you would go in, you would just shit into a trench. And he says that the first fella would have been in every day, was the first guy in every day, and it would be clean, it would be new, like there'd be no shite, there had been cleaned out from the day before. So they used to go and put a shovel to catch his shite. So when he did it, he would look and go, where the fuck did it go? And they did this to him every morning. He'd come out scratching his head. I'm going for a shit.
Ghosty.
Where's it go? And he never knew it. Pure fella probably fucking checked into the funny farm, like going, I'm doing doctor, I'm doing shites, and they're going nowhere.
Go shit. Have you ever done a go shit? You actually use a toilet. We use a toilet. You go to shit and you look, it's gone.
Didn't even leave a skid mark. Or
where did that go?
Or when you wipe and there's nothing there, and you go, here, whoa, hold on.
You do a ghosty and you wipe on there. I'm like, what the fuck?
But yeah, when you want a ghosty, you never get a fucking ghosty.
Never get a ghosty.
You're like,
ghosty in a
there's only one
place.
bit. Yeah, exactly.
No, like when you're on holiday and there's a wee shitty bar and you're like down for shit, and you're like, oh fuck me, I can't go to the toilet. And I always say, they're going to run back to the hotel. Go in here, just go in here, and you run in and you're sweating, and you're like, fuck me, you've turtled all in the toilet. You're hovering. You're hovering above a toilet.
That's always the worst. You'll never get a ghosty then.
And then people start coming in, they're waiting, they say there's only one toilet, and I'm like, fuck sure.
You get a clinger then. I always come out with my phone. If you ever go in to do a shite and there's some phones, I say like, well, I'm not gonna look you in the eye. I'll come out. Like, your phone's not even on, mate. What are you talking about?
We ran a pizza a couple of years ago, me and Dervla. We were actually speaking about this last week in Barcelona, and we were sitting in this wee bar in my stomach. I was like, Dervla, fuck, I need to run the toilet here. So I bolted in the toilet, fucking down for shit, fucking flew to me like water, and then was like, fuck. Look, now the bar was dead in front of us. It was actually a restaurant, but we were sitting outside, run in, went to the toilet, sitting there, cacks around the ankles. I was like, fuck, there's no toilet roll. I was like, what? Did you use your socks or something? So I was taxing Dervla. Dervla, there's no toilet roll here, go get me toilet roll. She fucking didn't see her phone. I was like, holy fuck, what am I going to do here? So I sat there for ages going, what am I going to do? Looked out, peeked out the door. There was no one about. I had my t-shirt pulled down, my shorts pulled up about here. No, I didn't want to pull them right up. Like, so I had them up the hair and pulled my t-shirt down. I was like, waiting. And then I just edged out, picked my head in the girls' toilets. There was no one on it. And I just bolted in the girls' toilets out the door. Fucking found toilet roll. But I was sweating, like the sweat was dripping off me, because it was like, if I get caught here, I'm fucked.
There's a lot on the line.
I went to the toilet. I cleaned myself in the girls' toilets, wash my hands, open the door, and a wee waiter was walking by me.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And then I was like, he was looking at me like, what are you doing there? And I was like, right, mate. I was like, there's no toilet roll in there. And he was like, oh, I will get now. So I walked out to Dervla. And I was like, fuck, see, that's your phone. She's like, my phone's dead. I was like, there's no toilet. I had to run on the girls' toilets. So the wee man was like, I will go get now. And then I sit there. Just as I sit there, and I went, fuck. She was like, what? Me? He's going to run that toilet. I hadn't even flushed it. So I bolted in, because I was only, in my head, I was like, I'll run the girls' toilets and take toilet roll and run back in.
You didn't plan on... Yeah,
I just stayed in there. I was like, fuck, I'm here, and I just locked the door because my hole was hanging out. So I was like, fuck, just as I sat down, I was like, fuck. She's like, what's wrong? I was like,
oh my God,
he's going to go back in there to replace that toilet roll, and I hadn't even finished the chain yet. So I bolted in, and he was just coming out, and I was like, fuck, I don't even think he noticed. He just set the toilet roll out there, else he did. He went, fuck.
That was a Belfast Live moment there. Imagine that, Belfast boxer.
Belfast boxer.
Caught in female toilets with his arse out.
Peeking on the way to the door,
waiting
for the right moment.
But when it hits you, see, when you get that feeling, you just go, this has to happen. I used to work in Duns in Park Centre, and so I was like 16 at the time. I was still in school. And when like there was ones you fancied in work or whatever, so we're like, we'll go to the Rock Bar, and then you would go to somebody's house after. So one of the girls I was interested in, we're like, we're going back to my house. I was Owen Vara. You had to walk the whole way up Bandytown. So we're in this house party, and she hadn't a notion to me. She didn't give a shit. It was when you were 16 and she would have been like 17. That was that age difference. 1 year was just like she wasn't looking at me.
Yeah, because she's literally ready to go out and make over 18.
But I'm only 16 and it's just wee skinny whip. And I was there and we were all drinking away, and then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, and I was like, I don't want to be having this shite in her house. So I was like, what do you do? And I was like, I have to go home. And like, it wasn't too far for me, but I was like, I'll not make it. I'll end up shiting in the street. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go up to the toilet. So there was people everywhere. There was a good amount of people at this party. And I went into the toilet, closed the door, locked it, and I was like, right down, trousers down, did the business, and it fucking wouldn't flush.
Oh,
and
no.
I think people had been leaving like toilet roll in it, you know, like, and hadn't flushed. So I did my shit on top of that, and then put toilet roll down it, hit it, and so it's fucking swimming, and I'm just standing there, and then I hear people knocking. Who's in there? And it was her, and I was like, I just climbed out the window and went home.
Straight down the drain pipe. Fuck.
By the time, because I had like an extension, and there was people you could see in the skylight. There was people all sitting drinking.
Icebreaker.
I know. I gotta get lifted with the vigilantes. I just climbed out, jumped down, and just when you're that age, it's like I don't give a fuck. I was like, and then I was like, I have to see her and work. So like at some point they would have opened the door. Where's Paddy? Like, oh, I wonder, and they're to the fucking toilet swimming. But yeah, I think I left done soon after that.
Oh fuck, my brother, I'll not say which one. He'd probably fucking beat me up when I tell this story. But yeah, I was telling me he was in a house party ages ago. Like it was late at night. It was like 3 in the morning. He said his stomach went. He was like, fuck this. He says he was drinking Guinness now, but he ended up going fuck it. So he bolted. He was in Turf Lodge and he was running home, and he was running back over. And he says he couldn't hold it in, so he's like, fuck,
he's gotta go.
So he ran on the Springfield Road where the garage is, no, beside St. Aidan's School.
Yeah.
Mount Alverno garage. So he ran there, and there's 2 like big electric boxes, like a green electric box and then a smaller electric box. And he says he'd run. He says I wasn't going to make it. He says, look, there was no traffic. He went in between the 2 electric boxes, dropped the catch. He says he literally just squatted, back up again, and bolted. He says, so literally by the time he squatted and flew out of him, by the time he got back up again, he says it was literally like an up and downer, like up and away, and he bolted home. And he wrapped the door to go in the house. His bird came down, opened the door, was like, what the fuck are you doing now? Like 3:30 in the morning. He's like, oh. It's like, smelly. She made him strip down, back naked out at the front door. It splashed off the back of his shoes.
He thought he had away with it. He thought he splattered. Pebble Dice is Air Max.
He had to tell her, like, oh, fuck. He says, did you go back the next day and check? Have a look at your shit.
You know, you're walking up the road and you see people all pointing at it. Like, Italian, some dirty bastard. This place is going to the dogs. I swear to God. They're like, here, what's that in the back of your Air Max? You've shit on the back of them. So the McCombs, there was McCombs worked in the call centre when I was there in HCL. Jim McComb.
Jim, he's my cousin.
There you go.
He ended up managing.
He was in BT. He was in Billing.
What do you call it, Irwin? Yale. He managed Yale.
Oh, did he go to there?
He managed Yale for a load of years. I don't think he's done it at all now.
Aye. The call centres were wild. Like, they were a big booming business.
Because our name, like my brother, he worked in that. I think he worked in HCL as well. But he was bricklaying, and then the boom happened. There was no work.
Yeah.
And then he was working in a call centre for like 2.5 years, and then he just walked out.
I loved it. It was good.
But he loved it too.
It was good crack. If you weren't outbound selling to people, that having to ring up and sell to people, inbound stuff was dead easy. But I was a trainer, so we used to go and we would be training people, and then whenever there wasn't a group in, they would literally tell you, because it was outsourcing, so it was like it wasn't owned by Sky or it wasn't owned by BT. But it was a group that were like, we'll take your calls for you. So whenever you weren't working, like you didn't have a group in it, I'd just say, fuck all. Just go into the group, just clock in, do your hours, and then go home. So there was a lot of just fucking swinging the lead and doing nothing.
Like when I was in school, say like I was 16, 17, like lower sixth, like everyone worked in call centers. Yeah. Like everyone. See, now I don't even know one person works in call centers.
I know it's it, but I think, and is that because everybody's working from home, and do people even do that?
I don't know, but I remember everyone, like I had friends in school
in
my class who were like 16, 17 working in a call centre. Yeah. My brother was maybe 23, 24 working in a call centre, or a load of his friends working in call centres, and there was no building work. Yeah. There was no building getting done. just everyone I knew worked in a call centre.
Yeah.
And now I don't even like know one person.
Yeah, it was.
Probably what you said to the kid now, would you apply to work in a call centre? Probably go,
what's that?
Work in a call centre, no like that. But back in the day, it was like everyone done it.
I know it was one of those jobs. It was good crack, but yeah, it was like if you're outbound, it would literally be bad for your mental health. We used to have to do ones for B&Q, and like some of the calls you had to make to people like about deliveries that aren't coming and stuff like that, and it was just like they'd be on the phone just giving you, and the amount that I used to love it though, you knew when it was happening when someone just threw the head up, through there, and it would normally be like a wee fella you trained, and you're like, he'll not last, and then next thing you're hearing, no, it's fuck, and you hear the headset getting thrown, then that was it. And I'm like, that's coming out of your wages because they were like 30 quid or something. Yeah. Like, fucking take it out of my wages. You don't give a fuck. Stick your job up your hole.
But it's like fucking, like door to doors. My mate Marty used to do sales for Sky, door to door sales. I was like, how did you ever do that?
Nightmare.
He loved it. He still talks about it. He's like,
there's some people that are made for those kind of jobs though.
I know, people just love
psychopaths.
It. Like, psychopaths, that's exactly it. How could you enjoy getting up, walking around door to door? Like, as soon as someone comes to your door, you're like, I'm not even answering it. Yeah. Or else you're like, no, mate, I've no interest. You don't even want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It's never a good time. It's never a good time for it.
I can understand the method behind it, because if someone wants to buy something, you would just go and bat.
Especially with phones and all now. Like back in the day, maybe, but yeah.
Like if someone, like there's still people come to your door every now and again, like for something, like for urgent. Like I've had people come, I'm like, mate, I've got the internet. I can literally search wherever I want. If I want to buy internet, I'll bat.
Yeah. Like, why do I need you to come to the door and fucking disturb me whenever I'm, supposed to be measuring doors here, mate? That's another reason. Exactly. But I hate those. The ones that I hate are the ones that ask you for who your energy supplier is. Yeah. Whenever you're like in the, like the spar.
£100 free of change.
I fucking hate that. And I remember like whenever you go in and they get you at the worst possible time, when you're hungover and you're like, mate, I'm in here to get a 1.5 litre bottle of Lucozade and Andrex because I'm touching cloth. I'm not here to do fucking admin. But I took my wee sister out. I tell this story in stand up. My wee sister's special needs, and so I, over the years, depending on work or whatever, I look after her a few days a week, and that's just the way we all muck in. But she loves going out shopping for DVDs and stuff, so I took her out one day and we bumped into one of these guys, and I always end up talking to them because I can't be a dick and go, here mate, nah, I'll always end up, trying to, and they're asking you all these questions. So I'd been out shopping with her, and this guy come over, he's like, hey, you could ask your energy supplier is, and I was like, so I'm talking away to him, and Sarah's pissed off at this stage because I've done my own shopping and she wanted to finish, and I was here just looking at him, and like she's in a wheelchair and he's not looking at her, he's not talking, he's just talking to me, and I was like, she's going to say something, and so he's talking about standing orders and blah blah blah, and much would you pay, and she says, Patrick, tell him to fuck off. And I was just like,
yes.
And he was like, sorry mate, he's in the way he walked. I was just like, fucking, what do you do? It was the best thing. Tell him to fuck off, and you can't say anything, like she's disabled. Exactly. Like you want to shout at her, are you?
Exactly.
So never saw him again. Like
obviously in the app, bring her everywhere with you.
That's it. Yeah. Just whenever, sorry, when I nudge you, just say tell him to fuck off.
Fuck off.
She's so funny. Like she just like, she's such a dry wit and dry sense of humor, and like she'd be sitting like in the car. And there was one time I stopped and there was somebody, notice like when you're driving and you like, I was at the lights and somebody walked past me and I wound her window down with the electric windows, and I'm chatting away and she's like, oh Patrick, I want to go home. And I was like, hold on sir, and then what about your dad? And next she just goes like that as I'm talking to him, and she just goes and it just closes, and your man's just like, and then the lights had gone green, so I had to drive on, so it looked like a while. What about your dad? But it was her. I was like, see you, and she's just laughing to herself.
She knows it's just crazy. Like, it's brilliant. It's class.
And
you're back touring again now,
yes. So that's just started last week. So 2 weeks ago. So we've done Bangor, Larne, and Enniskillen so far. So we have about 20. There's 30 odd dates. And that's what's like
where do people get their tickets in?
PaddyRaffComedy.com.
Do you have like a link on your Instagram?
It's on my Instagram and my website PaddyRaffComedy.com. That's where you get all the tickets and stuff. But it's great crack. Most of them sold out.
Realize, like, especially now, like it's such a good like date night. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people I grew up with like would be like, comedy show, fuck's the guy in front of him, no like that, but don't realize until they're Like I would have had that mentality at one stage, like years ago. But see now, until you're there,
once you're there,
shows, it's like, and you're with your missus or you go out with. Like,
aye.
Sometimes my missus, my in-laws would go to a wee show like that, and we love it.
Aye.
It's well better.
It is. It's something you wouldn't have crossed out in my mind anyway. Like that's what I'm saying. Growing up, even though I loved comedy, I didn't get to see any local comedy because there's no social media then, I suppose. So you would have seen the big touring acts coming through, but that idea of going to a local comedy night wouldn't have crossed. And there's still a lot of people's minds that we'll give it a go, and then they go and they'll love it.
And that was me the first time I did give it a go. I'm just like, that's my good wee date night out. Like, even if we go to lyrics sometimes, it's like the same thing, or we go to a stand-up and we'll like, that was brilliant. You know, like, that's just fucking so easy.
That's how you know you've changed, because you were sitting in the Lisburn Road and everybody else was going to Kneecap. You're like, we're going to the lyric here.
On the lyric, I know, fuck's sake. The only reason why I didn't go to Kneecap is because I would have ended up on the rip. I'm training for a fight, and I just know that one
you knew yourself.
I can't be trusted to go yet, because they're playing I was in Amsterdam last week, and they arrived on Friday. And I was speaking to Nisha's brother, Carbra, and the dad Nish, and he was saying, come over, you're in Amsterdam, come text me and we'll meet up. I was like, I can't, because I knew I was coming home on Friday anyway, but if I was able to have a drink and go and enjoy it and all with the lads, I would have, because I went to school Remans, so I would have went with them. I went to Irish school Remans, but I would have went and met them, but I didn't trust myself, so that I would have stayed on for the experience of being there and being maybe with them.
But that actually would annoy me more, is if I have to go somewhere, even people are like, why didn't you just go on that drink? No, it would be worse, because if I'm going and knowing
you're suffering,
what I could have done, I would have just cracked open a few beers. That would annoy you more being at it, so it's better to just not be at it and go, don't put it out of your mind, basically.
Yeah, 100%. But I made the right decision and just coming home early anyway, because I know what's would have happened. Because he would have got there with the intention of maybe I'll take it easy.
Yeah.
And then everyone's having a crack.
You think you can do it before you know it.
I'll have one or two. Next thing you know, you're fucking blue.
Before you know it, you're in a flow state.
Next thing you know, you're claiming a drain paper someone's house.
With your arse out.
But listen, we'll finish up here, and if anyone wants to get tickets, paddyraff.com, you just know a crack. Get yourselves involved. Trust me, you won't look back. Thanks for coming on, lad.
Thanks for having me. Good luck with the rest of the podcast.
Cheers, lad. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a wrap.